Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, October 16th, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The Ministry of Agriculture today, Monday, October 16th, 2017, hosts an agricultural exhibition as part of the 2017 World Food Day celebrations being held under the theme, Change the Future of Migration, Invest in Food Security and Rural Development. At the exhibition held at Heritage Square, a number of local produce were on showcase and persons were given the opportunity to learn more about the nation's efforts in ensuring food security. SVG-TV's Bavin Oliver attended the event and files this report.
The youth of SVG came in for high praise today for their contributions in the agricultural sector at the opening ceremony of the Ministry of Agriculture's 2017 World Food Day exhibition at the Heritage Square, where several local products were on display. Minister of Agriculture Sabotu Caesar, who gave the assurance that the government will continue to partner with those who make contributions to the sector, and praised the youth for their work and dedication.
Throughout the changing scenes of life, you are also going to see changing faces. And I am happy with the steadfast efforts and the resolute work of the youth in agriculture in this country. As we forge ahead as a people, we will continue to work with friendly governments, and I must compliment the efforts of the Taiwanese mission with us and all the other friendly governments.
Highlighting his experience traveling through Europe as a youth was Ashley Kane, the Chief Agricultural Officer, who stated that these countries have made tremendous efforts in promoting their own food security and called for the requisite work to be done so that SVG can do the same.
Rolling hills, well laid out, well planted, and so on. That became the basis, or that was the basis, for Europe's own food sovereignty and livelihood. For World Food Day this year, I want us to bear in mind, agriculture is still the basic industry, and ask that throughout the country, not just in the Ministry of Agriculture and other places, that we do the requisite investment and care enough for agriculture so that we would have an agricultural program like this one 50 years ago and beyond.
Addressing the theme, Change the Future for Migration, was Dr. Colleen Phillips, who stated that the persons who have no choice but to flee their homes deserve dignity and respect, and added that tackling the root causes of distress migration is the best solution to the issue in the long term.
By investing in inclusive and sustainable growth, the international community can maximize the potential of migration's contribution to development, as well as increasing the resilience of displaced and host communities, thereby laying the foundation for long-term recovery. The international community increasingly recognizes that tackling the root causes of distressed migration provides the best long-term solution, as opposed to simply dealing with the impacts. This includes not only conflicts, political instability, and natural disasters, but also hunger, extreme poverty, environmental degradation, and the effects of climate change.
Bavin Oliver, The Evening News.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told the gathering today that Vincentians need to develop a love for local produce as the nation thrives to address the issue of food security. Speaking at today's opening ceremony of the World Food Day exhibition at Heritage Square, PM Gonsalves said, due to SVG's colonial past, many Vincentians have a significant taste for foreign products and called on them to embrace their own, as well as create a demand which would have a positive effect on the nation.
Prefer to go and eat cornflakes, especially if you see some famous movie star or athlete on the cornflakes. But the root porridge and the farine better.
And I grew up on them. The point I want to make, there are lots of things which we are growing still. But we have to make sure that we grow them more efficiently. But you have to put out a demand for it so that people can grow more of it, so that it becomes cheaper because the volumes will be more. But if you turn up your nose at it and you think it's poor people food, let me tell you something. Once upon a time they used to say saltfish is poor people food. Now only middle class people could afford to buy saltfish.
The Prime Minister said the effects of hormones in various food products as well as the rise of cancer is of a serious concern.
Start to ease up on eating the imported chicken. Because I walking around the place and I go by the beach, I see some fellas with breasts almost big like woman, and you want to find out if it's the hormones from the chicken. And they lifting weights, you know. And they have cancer. You hear me? You know what I'm talking about is true. But we have to hold a conversation on all these things, you know. We have to hold it. And you have more women having breast cancer now than ever before. You hear me? And one of the things we have to ask is whether it hasn't to do with some of the imported meats that we eat, and whether they put some of these things inside of the feed for the animals.
At today's exhibition, our news team spoke with some of the persons who had produced on display, and they also encouraged Vincentians to support their own.
What is called composite flour. We make them from root crops such as sweet potato, dasheen, breadfruit, and plantain as well. These are the final products, but the process involves from selection to milling. And with these, they could do bread, cakes.
A crop may be productive, high yielding, disease tolerant, but if people don't like it, it doesn't make sense. So hence, that's one of the reasons we have these bananas here today for testing. Also, we have some cassava, which is drought tolerant on display. They were brought in here under the CFC program, along with some sweet potatoes. So that is in battling with climate change right now. You know, the planet is getting warmer, and it's more difficult to grow crops and the fruits and vegetables. So this is one of the ways that we are hoping to mitigate this problem by introducing varieties which are climate resistant, and the cassavas and sweet potatoes we have here is drought tolerant.
They got the weapon basket, the table mats, the fans, baskets, and so forth, table mats, hats. Yeah. Since I was a kid, they say working. Over 35, 40 years, they say working. My grandmother used to do them, so I just get into it. So there is, and I surviving well after it. I eat enough food comfortably.
With the protection from inhumane and degrading treatment being one of the absolute rights given to Vincentians through the Constitution, there are legislative framework to aid in ensuring this right. Speaking on Sister Station's Magic 103.7 Sunday Brunch program, lawyer and opposition Senator Zita Banwell highlighted the protection provisions under the 2015 Domestic Abuse Act, noting that the current act is an improvement of the then Domestic Violence Proceedings Act. She, however, expressed concern of how persons rationalize issues of domestic abuse rather than having the law being applied.
Sometimes we don't understand the predicament in people's head as to what to do it, particularly when it is someone close to you, your family member, and women go through or men go through, what am I going to do with reporting the uncle or the father and the shame that's going to come on the community? Or the father is the person who's the breadwinner, and if he goes to jail, what happens? In their head, they're thinking, this is more economics for me. And if this man goes to jail, how is my granddaughter, because I can't afford to look after her, how is my granddaughter and my great-grandchild are going to be looked after? And here's an opportunity for them. I cannot say whether or not that ever happened, but I know that our response was no, prosecution must be done.
Pointing out that any form of violence is a violation against human rights, Manuel called for persons to speak up and report all instances of domestic violence.
10.6% of females and 31.9% of males. And actually this was done for adolescents. There were young people who were interviewed. There was a study that was done across the region, I think, of Breaking the Silence. And it was shown that these persons that young had their first experience, their first sexual experience, which caused, I mean, it was forced sex, and we call it rape, we call it sexual molestation, people call it, but it's simply just rape. And in St. Vincent the Grenadines, these are police reports as well, between 2015 and 2016, there was a 28% increase in the number of sex offenses that were reported. And of the total number of reported sex offenses, there was a 27.2 increase in sex with girls under 13, which is statutory rape. People are reporting these issues of sex violence against women, whether they're physical or whether it's sexual. And that's a good start. I wish more people will do it.
Manuel also expressed the need for more shelters to protect women living in domestic abuse situations.
There's only one, which is called a shelter or crisis center, and it provides for temporary protection for women. There have been complaints. I can't say all of it, no, our people are not satisfied that they have. So just this morning I had a conversation with a woman who is asking, no, where I am, it's not proper for me to stay here. I don't do well in terms of my income. Is there a service that can assist me to find somewhere to live and therefore can subsidize the rent? And I would have to see what that is, because I've heard that exists, but I don't think really and truly, if the rent is $600 and my pay is $250, whatever it is, that the government actually subsidizes that for me as a woman who's now looking and for long term. Do you understand? So I think there's some missing services, some services that in terms of the gap between assisting women to move out of a domestic relationship that is very abusive.
The RSVG police force is offering a reward of 20,000 EC dollars for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the persons who are responsible for the shooting of 8 men in the Diamond area on Saturday night. Earlier today, one of the men died at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Sharon Gawe tells us more in this report.
What started off as a relaxing, enjoyable evening for individuals at the roadside bar in Diamond ended up being a crime scene. Reports are that around 9 p.m. on Saturday, the 14th of October, some 30 patrons had to run for their lives, some even jumping out of the windows at the bar at dangerously high levels, when 3 masked gunmen exited a white vehicle and began spraying bullets at the popular hangout spot. When the dust cleared, some 40 shell casings were recovered from the crime scene. Walls, windows, glass casings that displayed food, and even playing cards were riddled with bullet holes. Recounting the incident and still visibly shaken, Oslin Thomas says she was outside of the establishment when she was actually pushed aside by 2 of the 3 gunmen. She said that she bruised her knee and hid under a vehicle until the shooting ended.
And this man, when I reach home, I thank God for life, and I say I thank God for the little bruise what I got, and I didn't get no bullet, but me and Michael was in front the door there, and when the gunman come, they pushed down me and Michael. So I tried to escape, but I couldn't get for escape. So I saw a vehicle there, and I go underneath the vehicle and I rescue myself.
Where was the vehicle across?
The vehicle was right there parking, without no number plate. And 3 of them come outside, well masked up and things, so you couldn't recognize the face and what's not.
What size was the gun like? Outside.
The gun about that size, real powerful gun. When he start to Lego, When you reach right there, so it start to let go the bullet them, and you just say the bullet that go tat 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 tat. You understand? You see man jump out through the window. Man start to scatter go down. So after the gunman them gone, I start to bawl, "Mother, mother, help!"
Another patron at the bar, who wished not to go on camera, said he was terrified as he sat there and saw gunmen shooting at him while he was playing a game of cards. He said he had to duck for cover and sustained 2 gunshot wounds in his arm and was treated at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital and is recuperating at home.
So after I done deal out the cards and thing, and then I raise up my head, I look, I see a man running, coming in the with a rag over his face. As he reach inside, like my boy foot there, them start to shoot. And I pick up one here, then blast, and then again another one here. And then I drop down underneath the table. And then hide with myself and tail when everything done. When I come outside now, I meet my partner below, lay down on the floor there. With the gun shoot with holes and thing, bleeding on the ground there. So we man come and bring up Noah van, and we're gonna put them inside there. He and the next partner and 3 of us go down there.
30-year-old Gregory Abraham is not as fortunate. Earlier today, he succumbed to his injuries while at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital. The other gunshot victims are 25-year-old Kareem Benjamin, 42-year-old Kenneth Barzy, 37-year-old Andrew Lanes, 39-year-old Kimani Richards, 52-year-old Corwin John, 62-year-old Fitzroy Iris, all of Diamond, while the youngest victim was 18-year-old Michael Richards of Caliqua. In another shooting incident over the weekend, Pauls Avenue resident Joanza Fraser is counting his lucky stars after he was shot at his neighborhood. Reports are that on Sunday, 15th of October 2017, around 2 p.m., Fraser was shot several times about his body. He is now a patient at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital. Sharon Garraway reporting for SVG Television News.
And Area Representative for South Windward, Frederick Stevenson, strongly condemned the shooting incident in the Diamond community on Saturday night. In a telephone interview with SVG-TV News, Stevenson, who is responsible for social development and national mobilization, said he has spent some time with persons in the neighborhood and they have been traumatized by what transpired.
I know quite a few of the guys. Bolo, Mr. Bazi is from Bible. I know Pekka, I'm acquainted with him. I spoke to the other residents of the shop, the young lady who was actually in the shop, being the shopkeeper at the time because her dad was taken arrest. And she's still shaken up. Oslin is still shaken up, and some of the other guys who were there still shaken up as a result of that very, very serious incident that took place on the Saturday night. I saw the holes, the bullet holes that were riddled in that shop, and it really sent shockwaves to me, and it's a wonder that persons didn't die as a result of those gunshots. It sent a serious shockwave in the community of Diamond. Yes, we know that there would have been some incidents of theft and robberies in the Diamond area, but to have 3 masked gunmen jumping out of a car into a shop filled with innocent persons and opening fire is a serious cause for concern.
Minister Stevenson voiced his disapproval of all forms of violence and appealed to persons to assist the police with the necessary information to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Well, I condemn every aspect of violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As the Minister for National Mobilization, under which we piloted the Domestic Violence Act, this incident is not really related as a domestic violence matter, but of a serious crime, and crime against any individual in all forms should be condemned. And I stand resolutely as a minister to condemn every single incident of crime in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I think we have been a peace-loving nation. despite the fact that we have some small pockets of criminals living in and among us. But St. Vincent and the Grenadines is still a good place. It's a wonderful place for people to visit. But the criminals who are there and who consistently would carry out these sorts of tit-for-tat shootings and killings, I condemn acts of violence in every form and every particular matter.
And the opposition New Democratic Party's candidate for South Windward, Noel Dixon, also expressed concern over the shooting incident in the Diamond community. Speaking with SVG-TV News, Dixon said that such incidents cause fear and alarm, and innocent persons are also being hurt.
This is one of the areas in Diamond here that a lot of youngsters actually do come and lime, as it were, they socialize and that sort of stuff, and they play the pool and that sort of stuff. It's one of the areas in which not just a matter of them socializing, but from time to time they do the discussions. Right? Now, when a person could come, a person of persons could come like this and just shoot people like this randomly, it leads one to be more than concerned, because it's like, that is madness. And recently we heard a member of parliament indicating that these people who are getting involved are not innocent people. But I asked myself the question, how many of these persons who got shot last night, right? How many of these persons who got shot last night, what are they guilty of?
Dixon is also of the view that too many illegal guns are in the country and called for a war against crime. He said that it is critical that the police act on information of gang activities in the country.
We have reached the point where we as a nation need to come together and declare what I may consider war against crime, right? We need to know. It's unfortunate that sometimes people are afraid to give police the sort of information that they may have, because it is alleged that even within the police force there are individuals who you cannot trust with certain information. But the time has come when we should more or less get to these people, because if you have information of some of these gangs and whosoever they are, it's important that you get them, continue to keep those people under surveillance and disarm them. We need these people to be disarmed, because if we don't, you're going to have a continuation of these sort of things. When one group is being affected by the other, they're going to go with revenge, and it'll be continuous, and we cannot continue like this. It is reaping havoc in our country. It is instilling fear, because people wouldn't want to move around as they really want to. It's going to hamper those persons who are trying to do a little business, you know, because people will start not going and patronizing. So it have its economic effect.